Hi, everyone. Welcome to free introduction to numerology. Not just numerology, the system is very unique. It's within a Vedic tradition. It's called Tantric numerology. And Tantric means that it has the energetic component of numbers, of frequencies, has uh, non-dual reality of shadow and light, as above, so below, and that's the context of frequencies or numerology, and that's why it's held within a tantric tradition. But on the base of it, it's a numeric system, and we're going to talk about a little bit about numerology. And of course, if you have certain questions or interest, you can put it on the chat area or I'll give some time for questions. So I have been studying and teaching numerology for the past 20 years, 2 decades. I've been certifying other people to become numerologists for the past 10 years. Uh, and um, and basically it's just a fascinating journey to actually understand that everything has a frequency. So uh, we're going to talk a little bit about the frequencies of the universe through numbers. We're going to numbers and rhythm. Why now? And we're going to talk specifically of your own. Each one of us is a soul blueprint that is activated in the coming year. Um, so as I said, Tantric numerology is defined as a non-dual system of divination. It's a mathematic structure to observe and experience the universe. Everything is divided to 1 through 11 frequencies, not just 1 through 9. There's 1 through 11, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, why there are like 1 through 11 frequencies. And um, so here's the thing, about soul and destiny. There are seen and unseen frequencies or vibrations. Um, and and seen and unseen vibrations has to do with, first of all, every seen reality has an unseen reality as well. We are observe our reality through our senses, our interpretations, and the subconscious reality is what underneath. And numerology is is some sort of metaphor to actually look at what is running the whole reality associated with our perception. Um, and why now? Why I'm actually working through it now? Because here's the thing, our reality, and you can see it in politics, you can see it in um, our perception of ourself, our perception of our differences, our perception of gender, race is basically clouded by something else. And at this point in time, unless we actually dwell in different frequency to assess reality, there is a balance between spirit and matter, and we are very much activated by matter these days. So one thing I want to emphasize, it's important to understand that this millennia, the 2000, is basically running by relationships. It's basically it's running by the number 2, and 2 is associated by 2 is representative of the vibration of trust and cooperation, harmony, or divisiveness, duality, conflict. And also, two is very much about the past is basically creating a duality by itself, because we always refer to the past as the current aspect of reality. So, um, so here's the thing: when we're looking at um, when we're looking at reality at this point in time, it's like we need to actually look at what create harmony and what can we leave behind as things that worked in the past are no longer working for us. So the number two is really important for the whole millennia, basically. And to make this year, like the next 8 decades, the focus is connection and understanding. It's the two. And harmonizing relationships and bringing the active awareness of living past understanding behind. Now, let's say in numerology, the soul imprint in a numeric system, the soul imprint is represented by the day number one was born into. Let me show my, you don't, I can actually move into high. So the soul imprint is the number that we were born into. And there are 11 bodies or prisms of consciousness that we're born into. Each one of us was born between 1 and 31 or 1 and 30 numeric imprint on the day basis. So that day, basically every number in a numeric system is being collapsed into a one-digit equation. But in Tantric numerology, we look at also the number 10 and the number 11. So the number 10 is a higher octave of the number 1, and the number 11, considered to be a mastery number, is a higher octave of 2. So there's 11 prism within a numeric system that represent our soul understanding, soul awareness. So the thing is, we're gonna look. So here's the thing. I'm gonna ask you, what is your soul imprint? What is the numeric value of the day? And as we go through all 11 equations, you're probably gonna get something about your own day and what you have been handed to handle on a daily basis and on the frequency of this year as well. So why don't we begin? So let's talk a little bit. So the soul position is defined in one's chart by the day of birth. So if someone was born on the 28th day of the month, the soul imprint will be a 10. 2 plus 8 is a 10. This is what it represents, that position of the day, just the day itself. It's what we need to work through life. It's chiseling away the qualities and expression that inspire us, as well as understanding the shortcoming that numeric vibration of the soul is one to actually exceed and bring to a positive place, or the positive vibration of that numeric value, because every number has shadow and light. We have the positive and the negative equation. So the vocabulary of numbers is rhythmic language. That language creates a framework for communication and how we can deliver our desire and aspiration more effectively. So, like for instance, you can say our relationship is a frequency. What we have and don't have uh, in life is a frequency. Our career is a frequency. Um, we can say that our where we live is a frequency. Everything that we have and don't have has to do with our numeric vibration. So as we're moving through life, the understanding of a numeric chart or one soul vibration can make a huge difference. If you know that your shortcoming is, for instance, associated with the number 2, we talked about the number 2 that is, for instance, 2021 has a 2 there, double 2, it means that it's a shortcoming associated with harmony versus duality. So that aspect of duality will always be something that we have to work on. So we're gonna go through. So here's the thing. I know some of you coming and going, so I don't know where you at. But here's the thing. I want you to think about what is the number that you born, the day of the number, just and reduce it to a one-digit number, 1 to 11. So if you, for instance, if you were born on the 21st of the month, then the 21st of the month, then 2 and 1 will be a 3. Your daily vibration or your soul number will be a 3. If you were born on the 16th, your daily vibration will be a 7, or your soul number will be a 7. So we're going to go through all these 11 vibrations. Probably you have other people in your life that you probably know that were born in a certain time too, right? So I'm going to give time for questions, but let's just look at the progression of numbers. So, for instance, soul of 1, somebody was born on 1. When I look at the soul aspect of communication from 1 to 11. So soul of 1 is always striving to I can, I will. This year it's about let's explore and innovate. Let's think outside the box. Ones appreciate uniqueness and innovation. It's appreciated pioneering. It appreciates the aspect of taking risks. The negative equation of it can be being phobic of mouthy or not taking risks and so on. We talked a lot about 2 because this whole millennium is affected by the number 2. So 2 is associated with trust, connection, collaboration, harmony. 2s like to know that they can trust you. So the collaborative aspect is really important to them. So when we talk to somebody who was born on the 20th, the 2nd, even the 11th, you need to talk to them in manner of we are doing this, we can do together, or together we will explore. You have to have like an inclusive language about that. And when we go to the vibration or frequency of 3 or the third dimension, which is like create a much more dynamic. If you think about the geometry of it, it's geometry of triangles. Um, 3 is a soul is expressive and creative. It sees possibility in any given situation. This year is ruled by the 3. It's playful, positive, but also impulsive and worrisome this year. So it can be exhausting 2021 for a lot of us. When we go into the soul number of 4, people that were born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd. So all 4 appreciate structure, organizing factor, a process, one step at a time. They like to hear, let's create a plan. Let's get the steps clear, A to Z. A soul of 5, somebody was born on the 5th, the 14th, the 23rd, is about movement and change. It's about communication and about adventure. It's a physical, the physical body is a 5, 5 senses. It's time to plan an adventure. Exploration is a good word for 5s. And basically for them, actually communicating freely is an expression of that ability to change as well. When we go to the number 6, 6 is a double 3. People were born on the 6th or the 15th of the month or the 24th of the month. It's the soul communicates through the prism of fairness. 6 is about fairness, justice, creativity, not creativity. There's double creativity because there's 3. There is the aspect of the home and family, the group, the collective. So the voice to be truthful and public and also to engage in the welfare of others is really important for a 6 soul. This year is very much for these 6 is very much about change. It's about social fairness. It's about justice. It's about or injustice. It's about truth. 6 is about truth as well. When you go to the 7th, which is folks that were souls that were born on the 7th, the 16th, the 25th. 7th soul likes to understand why things work the way they are. They like to be explained. They can be philosophical. They can be very, they're interested in knowledge, but they need to be explained. They have a difficulties with boundaries because 7 is associated with the auric field. Numbers, each number is associated with energetic as well as physical organ or healing focus remedy as well. And 7 is the aura, it's the auric field. When we converse with a 7, they need to be explained their opinions and position based on knowledge and fact. They like information and want to know why things or events occurs in a certain way. There's more to it, but I'm just trying to focus on an area of communication and relationship that is associated with that numeric frequency. Souls of 8, 8 is associated with power, with life force, with prana, breath, with overcoming fear in order to be courageous and taking charge. And 8 needs to actually be comfortable or engage in an energetic flow of breath to actually step out and be basically in a sense of control of their choices and the ability to generate money as well as generate more energy for themselves. Choices, they have difficulty in making choices, so breath work or any cardiovascular will affect their energetic system to actually create more of the willingness to choose. And then we go into a 9, which 9 is the last numeric number within the 1 through 9 numbers. And 9 represent mastery and completion. And people that were born on the 9th, people born on the 18th or the 27th of the months are soul of 9. It's mastery, it's the ability to look into the details of things, it's artistic and perceptive eye, they appreciate science, they appreciated beauty. 9 is the ability to master and as well as complete areas of passion and interest. And then in Tantric numerology, there is a 10 soul, which is people who are born on the 10th. And it's very important. It's a higher octave of a 1. It's basically, it's souls that want to inspire and be inspired, and they want to create their own path and their own way. It's the archetype of the CEO or the somebody who likes to lead an expedition, or somebody who likes to lead a team. They have a time all or nothing mentality, and this year the creative essence and the fluctuation of the number 3 this year create a little bit difficulty for these souls of 10 that like everything to be perfect and in a certain way. And then we have a mastery number, which is considered the embodiment of all the numeric bodies of energy. It's soul of 11, it's spiritual mastery, and it has to do with basically high values and ideals of spirit that can inspire others and makes a difference for others. So when you talk to an 11, you need to talk about high ideals and value. They may appear fanatic, like activists definitely have this 11 political, revolutionary, spiritual leaders has that 11. They understand that everything needs to go through a higher ideals and then trickle down to actions and material understanding of the universe. So these are 1 through 11, and this year it's that 11 is kind of the challenge, because it's a year that has all these 2s. It's that 11 is, when it goes negative, it's about fanaticism, it's about conflicting ideals, and that 11 is very impulsive this year. Now, we're going to pause for a second, and I'm going to take your questions if you have any. Okay, so here's the thing. I mean, eventually what I do, I offer numerology course, or a 13 week course. So I'm just gonna, would like to share with you a little bit what it's 5 minutes, what it is about as well. So basically it's a course of 13 weeks. And it's a certificate program. It's weekly assignment, practices, access to class material, recording and handouts. And it's basically assessing personality, character, career purpose, health and abundance analysis, relationships and their potential, timing, opportunity, and a system for forecasting. Um, the course itself, the skeletal itself, is numbers, the history, progression. We kind of looked a little bit about the progression of 1 through 11 through very much just the soul position, which is the day that one was born. I'm going to talk more in depth 11 bodies of consciousness, the chart, numeric chart, the basic position, significant numbers. I say 16, for instance, is a significant number. 12 is a significant number. If somebody has a 16, it's not just a 7, it's 16 on a daily position is someone who's has kindness, the ability to be kind, but the challenge is kindness and forgiveness for themselves because it's on a daily basis, as well as letting go of past attachments and past, I would say, misfortunes with other people, actually. So, but it's really a 7 on a daily basis is somebody who needs to actually boost their auric field on a daily basis and basically also have a much more better sense of boundaries. Um, so significant number, we're going to talk about significant number. There's a whole gamut of them. Transformer number. So here's the cool thing about numerology. It's not a fundamental system. Sometimes astrology is not necessarily a solution-oriented system. It says you were born in this cusp and this time, and this is what you have to handle and deal with it. Numerology has a contract as well. We were born in a certain contract in time and space, but since it's a mathematical system, there is what you call transformer number, and it's key of practices to change challenges into opportunity, to change adversity into an opening. So it's really a whole gamut of tool actually to shift and hold a lot of the position in your chart in a positive position. We're going to learn how to build a chart and a chart structure. And then there's a whole section about time cycle, universal and personal year, significant numbers in time cycle. If you have a significant number, if you're in a year that is colored by 16, there's a certain influence that you will experience in that year. And then we have like how to forecast some of your personal experience on a monthly, weekly, daily time cycle. So the next training begins on August 19, and there's an early bird discount through the 21st, 30% off. Free orientation, I made a mistake. It's definitely not the 4th. The 4th was already. Probably going to be sometimes in July. There's going to be an orientation for the course itself. And we're going to go more in depth of what it's about. I don't know if you have any last questions, but I absolutely appreciate that you all the way from Mexico, you came here.
I
So when we look at numerology at name, so name, the systematic system, either if it's Chaldean system or Gematria. I was born with Gematria. I was born and raised in Israel and came to New York. But so Gematria, which is the science of the coding of numbers, whether it's alphabetical or in English, it's a science of the code through the text or the numeric vibration. And that's more like, I would say, it's more like the frequency that you repeat itself, that you repeat for yourself. So there's a whole slew of, by the way, the numeric equation of names is associated with the tarot as well, because certain equations, when they come, they're represented by the archetype of the card itself. But so numeric value of names is more of the frequency that you vibrate through your name. So there is like sometimes, you have names that can be challenging, especially let's say in area of when you're signing contract, even when you're saying them, they can be challenging. And it's either you know how to work with the challenge aspect of it, or like yourself, I don't know if it was based numerically, but you change the name to change a certain frequency so you can create different opportunity for yourself. I don't know if I'm making sense here. Um,
Yes, because I have had friends who changed their name because of the vibration or energy
yeah,
numerologically.
yeah.
I changed my name only because I didn't resonate with the name I was given.
Okay, so maybe, but intuitively, you recognize it in some
Right.
ways. But I would say that, for instance, the solution through numbers in a numeric chart based on your date of birth, you can actually see, that's what I said, there is a section, there's a whole science associated with what we call transformer numbers, which is
Okay.
numbers that shift, for instance, any areas of challenge or adversity, or even how you make choices that will shift where you need to focus so you can actually create more opportunity for yourself or be more impactful or not be so hesitant about choices or not making choices out of like conflict or being reactive. There's a whole gamut, and that's why I said in that's in my experience basically that numerology as a system, as a chart, is much more practical than, for instance, in astrological value, unless somebody is really kind of adverse and know enough in terms of like practices that can divert challenges of certain planets or certain timing. So,
But for instance, can you give me an example of how, if you were working with me with my numbers, how what happens with a number that to change energy so that you're I want to I
I
want to draw a relationship into my life, for
okay,
instance.
so here's the thing, probably in your chart itself, there's a challenge in relationship and challenge, for instance, a seven. I'm just going to tell you about the seven on a boundary level. There's
Okay.
areas of boundaries. It's either um, the kind of the resonate of wanting to be secluded in some ways, or but I need to look at a whole chart to actually talk to you about it intelligently.
Sure.
And
Sure.
but I will tell you that there's definitely answers within your chart itself and we're gonna go over your transformer numbers and where you need to focus, for instance, to basically attract relationship or to be more social or to notice your negative aspect of, if I'll take the negative aspect of seven, is like seven in certain position is will be somebody who's a loner, for instance.
That's true of me. I
Yeah.
live in a little tiny village where
So 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 that aspect need to change. So even just me telling you that is something that you need to shift to the other side of it. But let's do it. I don't know.
okay.
Anyway, I hope that was helpful. And
I can see that there's so much to learn. So,
there's so much to learn, but there's so much, it's not just the learning, it's how it's to apply things too.
okay.
It's to apply them. Because here's the thing, numeric chart is identifying certain patterns and how you practice life. You're practicing in a certain patterns. Now, if you want something else, you need to change the frequency to something else. As clear as that.
I
Yes?
can relate to that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Say hi to
was-
the beach. And
Okay.
we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Adios.
Bye.
Adios.